Greetings, everybody. Yes, I know, I've been absent for a bit. It's been an unusual week. It sort of starts off with, well, it's about time I go to the doctor. I hadn't been there in about a year, and I needed some prescriptions refilled and whatnot. So I went on down, and of course, as usual, I walk in, and out in the parking lot, I measured my blood pressure at 125/78. I go in there, and they get a reading of 150/something. I don't know. As soon as I walk into any medical building, my blood pressure goes up, whether I am taking blood pressure medication, CBD, it doesn't matter. Yeah, and so, as usual, he looks at me and figures I'm going to die, and he's already tried writing prescriptions for me that I can't use. I keep dropping them because they make me sick. Well, anyways, he's going to get me. They sent me out for x-rays on the lower lumbar because I'm always complaining about my sacrum being knocked out of position, and he sent me out for the usual blood panel, but then he added a treadmill heart stress test at the cardiologist. Oh man, I tell you, that right there is enough to stress me out. I don't need to get on the treadmill. Okay, yeah, because I walked in and they were measuring high blood pressure. There was nothing wrong with the heart. The heart rhythm was all great. Yeah, I'm watching they had me all wired up. Got done with it. I said, well, how's the heart? He said, your heart's fine. It's your blood pressure, as usual. It's because I'm here with you guys with the white coats. Well, anyway, so that was one thing. Kind of messed my week up. And then, all of a sudden, out of the blue, the invisible green garden guy pops in on me. Yes, Hugh who is the other half of this product. Hugh is the guy who's my webmaster. Yeah, and he helped me construct my shopping carts and all sorts of different digital details and a few artistic ones. My logo on the website is Hugh, the invisible green garden guy. Yeah, a long time ago when I asked you if you would do this work for me, my deal was, I said, well, look, Hugh, at the time I was living in California and I had the house here. I said, well, you can use my house in Hawaii when you go on vacation. I'll make you a trade. You do the digital work for me, you get to use my house. Well, that's great. He said, okay, but he never came and never used it. Well, then he got sick. Hugh has not been well lately. I didn't really think I was ever going to see him again, actually. Well, his brother had a timeshare situation on the West Coast here with his wife, and so I guess they were over here. Hugh says, oh, the heck with it, I'm coming over. He flew in on this side, and he stayed the night here at my house, and we hung out. He got lucky too, because Hugh is also a trained geologist, and we were eating breakfast, and Ellen woke up, comes running out, and goes, "The volcano's erupting! The volcano's erupting!" Oh wow! So, being a geologist, this was very exciting for Hugh. He'd only seen one other erupting volcano, Lassen in California, in his life. So. And he likes that sort of stuff. As I recall, the total solar eclipses, Hugh and his wife were chasing them across the country. They were flying around to see that too. Well, so we jumped in the car, flew up the mountain over here, and well, I wanted to try to get into the hotel somehow, because that is one of the better viewing areas. There was no way. Hotel parking lot was completely packed. The visitor center adjacent, completely packed. There was nowhere to park anywhere. I drove further in. Steam vents were filled. There's nowhere to park there. Even the military camp was the people were parking all over in there and then walking in towards the caldera across the woods. Then, well, we get so far up, and there is what they call the Kilauea Overlook. It was the second to the last viewpoint that we have over the caldera these days. Well, the Rangers are out there and they're flagging everybody into the Kilauea Overlook. You couldn't go any further. The museum and the old overlook and all that, and was all further down the way, but we had been able to go there, but apparently the eruption has made it unsafe. And so we got lucky. There were parking places there. Yeah, we got there early enough that we got a place to park, and we couldn't see the bottom of the eruption, couldn't see the base from there, but we could see the top. That was very cool, because I would only be guessing how many feet it was ejecting over the top of the caldera, but it was a huge stream of lava going way up into the air and falling back down again. Well, so I'm standing there, I'm looking at the floor of the caldera, and suddenly I realize it's moving. Yeah, because it was daytime, I couldn't quite make out the glow. You could see ribbons of fire in the floor, but I didn't see that the whole floor was liquid, and it was moving around. That was pretty neat. Yeah, so we enjoyed the situation for a half hour or so, and talked to some of the other visitors that were there, and then we went back to the car. Oh man, did I get a surprise. We took one look at the car. That car was covered in cinder and Pele's hair. Yeah, the stuff had been going up and then falling back down on top of the car. I go, oh man, and I forgot my camera. Okay, sorry. And so this stuff was dropping all over the car. I had really never seen that before. I've seen white ash all over the roads, but I had not been there when rocks were falling. And so as I'm watching, all of a sudden I hear tink, 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 pop, tink. Rocks were still falling. Things the size of a pea, and little pieces of Pele's hair, inches long, big, long strands of glass. They were falling all over the place. We jumped back in the car and looked at the windshield, and it was starting to rain. And the windshield was completely covered in glass and rocks, and I go, man, you better get enough water on that before we turn the wipers on. Luckily, it wasn't my car. It was a rental. Yeah, so Hugh had to wait till we got enough rain, and when he turned the wipers on, you should have heard it. Just scoring the glass. Oh, boy. Yeah, so then we pull out onto the road, and, in the parking lot, I was seeing pea-sized stones falling from the sky. But once we got to the road, there was stuff the size of a cherry. It was the main reason why they wouldn't let anybody go any further, because if you got any closer, the rocks would have burned right through your convertible top. They would have been hot. Yeah, they were cool at the distance we were at. Yeah, so that's, and in the whole process, everything was so up in the air, and I don't know what's going on. And of course, he was on a vacation thing, and his brother's here, and they came by and had burgers. Parker Ranch hamburger, the 80/20. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. That was good. I barbecued them. Had some beautiful hamburgers. Everybody was happy with that. But anyway, in the process, just about the time I was going to shoot a video with the Invisible Garden guy, he decided he's going to fly out from the West Coast instead of the East Coast, so everything got messed up that way. So, got no pictures of Hugh. But he was here. I'm here too. Well, everybody, y'all hang loose.